学習しろよ。ケム。どういうことだ?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 30 anime fights where the hero takes 0 damage. Number 30, Bruce Wayne vs. Thugs, Batman Gotham Knights. In this anime spin-off of the Dark Knight trilogy, Bruce Wayne receives lessons in how to withstand pain from a mysterious woman named Cassandra. One night, a group of thugs threaten her with violence, all before Bruce intervenes. They take their turns smashing weapons over his head, but he doesn't even react once. Once the thugs bring out their knives, Bruce doesn't take any chances and takes out each of them one by one. Number 29, Shion vs. Holy Knights. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. When the Knights of Western Holy Church refuse to listen to Shion, she gives them all 2 options: submission or death. Leonard, Guard, and the rest of their subordinates aren't having it, and after raising a barrier, they proceed to blast her with their holy cannon technique, which is easily deflected by her sword. Realizing that reasoning with them is pointless, Shion tells them to hit her with their most powerful attacks, which Guard is happy to oblige with his Inferno Flame. Thanks to her multi-layer barrier, Shion is able to brush it off easily, taking no damage whatsoever, and finally brings them to their knees once she effortlessly destroys the holy field. Number 28, Frieren vs. Drat. Frieren Beyond Journey's End. After being thrown in prison, Frieren is confronted by one of Aura's guillotine executioners, who has been sent to kill her. Despite her warnings that there's no way he can defeat her, Drat goes on the offensive right away, hanging her with a sharp wire. Of course, this has no effect at all on such a powerful mage as Frieren, as she easily breaks out of it and emotionlessly disposes of the demon without any remorse. Number 27, Nanami vs. Haruta. Jujutsu Kaisen. Yes, let's get the fact that Nanami pulling Haruta's hair sent the internet into a frenzy out of the way right now. And let's get into this devastating fight. After Nanami arrives on the scene, Haruta quickly slices and kicks him, but it's no use, as not only is there no visible damage, Nanami brushes it off like nothing happens and repeats his question. He absolutely decimates Haruta in such a way that we almost feel sorry for the sniveling scumbag. Even Haruta's sneak attack is completely pointless as he is sent flying into the streets. Number 26, Ayanokoji vs. Ryuen, Classroom of the Elites. In the shock of the century, Ayanokoji proved that not only was he a master manipulator, but also an absolute beast when it comes to combat. Facing off against the school's toughest guy, Ryuen, Ayanokoji easily outmatches him with every strike. Even when Ryuen manages to get him against the wall and starts choking him, Ayanokoji completely no-sells it and manages to get out with ease. When Ryuen refuses to give in, Ayanokoji relentlessly pummels him on the ground, leaving his face almost unrecognizable. Number 25, Suo vs. Kanama, Windbreaker. In the series of fights between Frieren and Shishitoren, Perhaps the most surprising showdown of them all was between Suo and Kanama. The calm and collected first year sends his opponent into a rage by talking down to him like a baby. And instantly uses this to his advantage. With his unique blend of Aikido and Kung Fu, Suo is easily able to counter everything Kanama throws at him, sending him flying each time. With each counter, Kanama becomes more and more unhinged, before he eventually loses the will to fight. What's crazy is we didn't even get to see Suo get serious. Number 24, Atheron vs Shin. Mobile Suit Gundam C Destiny. Shin got on a lot of people's nerves during Destiny's run. His insistence on getting revenge for his family, despite seemingly being on the baddie side, coupled with his overpoweredness, just made us eager to see his downfall. That came in the form of a brilliant humbling from Atheron during their final encounter. Here, Shin, who is usually wiping the floor with any of his opponents, was on the receiving end of Atheron's seed mode. Despite also having to save Luna Maria from Shin's blind rage, the Zala heir is able to totally dominate his opponent in this awesome finale. Number 23, Gabimaru vs Keiun. Hell's Paradise. Early on into this expedition of the legendary land Shinsenkyo, Gabimaru encounters another criminal called Warped Keiun, a weapon master who is out for blood. We would say it's unfortunate that Gabimaru is forced to bind his hands, but even after doing so, he completely tanks all of Keiun's attacks, shattering his weapons in the process. With just a single pole, Gabimaru is able to launch the massive hunter with his leg, and quickly finishes him off screen. Number 22, Levi vs Beast Titan. Attack on Titan. Prior to this, we knew that Levi was capable of extreme feats, but this beatdown could almost be described as superhuman. Following Ryuen and the Survey Corps' sacrificial distraction, Levi appears out of nowhere and proceeds to go to town on Zeke Yeager. Levi's speed is so insane that he's able to dodge all of his attacks and bring him crashing down to the ground. Once there, Levi slices and dices him like Swiss cheese, until he's able to rip Zeke straight out of the Beast Titan's body. Number 21, Ryuko vs Takaho. Kill la kill. This boxer should thank his lucky stars he got to fight Ryuko when she was still embarrassed about wearing senkets. Otherwise, he might have ended up losing more than just his clothes. In spite of the fact her talking uniform is a tad on the revealing side, the immense power of the Kamui was more than enough to stop Fukuroda's punches from causing any damage whatsoever, paving the way for Ryuko to bust out the scissor blade and send him packing. Probably not quite the knockout he was hoping for. Number 20, Rizel vs Jake. Noblesse Awakening. We all know that vampires love to make a mess with their food and create as much of a bloodbath as possible. Just ask Alucard. Rei, on the other hand, prefers to keep his whites free of stains, so simply settles for mentally crushing his prey until they're consumed in a maelstrom of their own blood. After his new high school allies are attacked by the enforcers of the Union, Rei arrives on the scene and proceeds to let everyone know who the OG Nightwalker really is, proving that he doesn't have to touch someone in order to rip them apart. Number 19, Misaka vs Seikei, a certain scientific railgun, T.
別にヒーローじゃないけど、単に弱い者いじめをする気はないってだけ。
Getting owned by level 5 espers is practically Seikei's day job at this point, and nowhere was it more brutal than when they ended up earning the electrified wrath of the railgun. After saving an innocent student from being trounced by this member of Scavenger, Misaka quickly lays down the law. Not only by turning their own magnetic power against them, but also following it up with a pillar of electrokinesis that scorches Seikei until their lights go out. Academy City is a weird-ass place to live. Number 18, Natsu vs Blue Note, Fairy Tail. The first encounter with this dark wizard ended rather poorly for the members of Fairy Tail, with them being saved at the last second only due to the intervention of Guildards. This time was a tad different. With 2 years of training under his belt, Natsu not only was able to brush off Blue Note's gravity magic like it was nothing, but also incinerate him in a single breath. While it truly highlighted just how strong the salamander had become, it also made us realize just how crappy a villain Blue Note was. Number 17, Coro Sensei vs Irina, Assassination Classroom. Seduction can work wonders on the right target, and as we know, Irina certainly has got it going on. Sure, she wasn't able to win over anyone in Class E, but a yellow monster with tentacles for days, that's a different story. While her assassination attempts appear to have no flaws whatsoever, Bitch Sensei severely underestimates Koro Sensei's capabilities. With regular bullets proving useless, her death trap ultimately fails, leading the smiling monster to dish out some rather, well, unconventional punishments in retaliation. Hey, get your minds out the gutter. Number 16, Vegeta vs Pui Pui, Dragon Ball Z. I mean, does anybody even remember this guy? A servant of Babidi, this alien wannabe found himself in the unfortunate position of acting as Vegeta's opponent, confident that his speed would be enough to easily axe off the Prince of Saiyans. The truth of the matter was, this guy was so easy to take out, he might as well have been named Yamcha from a parallel universe. Not a single one of his blows manages to land, all culminating in Vegeta giving him a full frontal ki blast that reduced the forgettable henchman to dust. Number 15, Anos Voldigode vs Kroot Ludowell, the misfit of Demon Academy. Look, we knew Anos was going to win. The only question here was just how badly he was going to humiliate his opponent in the process. Oh sure, he didn't defeat him with his heartbeat alone like he did the other guy on his induction day, but the founding demon still managed to make a sting. Taking on the brother of the prejudiced teacher he had spent the semester dunking on, Anos didn't only win the fight without taking a single strike from his opponent's sword, but did so in a single minute. just like he declared he would. Flex. Number 14, Maple vs Players. Bothery. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. Oh ha! Whoever said it was a waste of time pouring all your stats into a shield clearly didn't know what they were missing out on. With an abject fear of getting hurt, the adorable Maple continually builds her defense, to the point where it becomes impossible for her to be damaged. Those starring in this PvP event learned this the hard way when they tried to overpower her, all before getting deleted with a light tap of her shield. Oh, and her terrifying Hydra summon. She's still cute as a button though. Number 13, Baky vs Eli Jr. Baky. Taking out an opponent so easily is always going to be embarrassing for the losing side. But the son of the legendary boxer set himself up for maximum humiliation. Not only was Junior talking mad shit from the get-go about how he was going to best Baky, but had spent the previous few episodes trying to get Kozue interested into some sparring between the sheets. So how did he fare in the title bout? Got choked out within seconds of the gong. That's what you get for simping. Number 12, Accelerator vs Scavenger. A certain magical accelerator. And Seke loses out again. Though at least this time, the whole squad goes down with him. While taking on the role of an anti-hero in this iteration, that doesn't stop Accelerator from going on the occasional psychic rampage when the moment calls for it. Facing the full might of Scavenger, the ultimate Esper tears apart the whole crew without even flinching. While he doesn't outright kill the lethal ladies, he certainly leaves them worse for wear, both their bodies and psyches in pieces by the end of their little tussle. Number 11, Hiei vs Bui. Yu Yu Hakusho. Okay, we're gonna be a little bit cheeky here. While the two start off evenly as their match in the Dark Tournament gets underway, we're only counting this from the moment that Hiei successfully absorbs the Dragon of the Darkness Flame. We don't care, it looks epic. Now a far stronger demon, Hiei is able to take blow after blow of Bui's fists without it doing any harm whatsoever, at least until he gets bored and decides to end things with a shockwave that leads to one hell of a ring out. Number 10, Diablo vs Edelgard. How not to summon a Demon Lord? Well, that's one way to flaunt your status as the de facto demon on the block, and possibly earn a future Hara member in the process. Despite her formidable skills and the hellish hordes at her back, Edelgard found herself woefully unprepared for Diablo and his level 150 swag. Impervious to her strikes, the OG Demon Lord responded in kind with a single spell that not only sent Edelgard and her wardrobe packing, but also wiped out an entire bridge and a good chunk of her forces. Number 9, Meliodas vs Derer and Mons, the 7 Deadly Sins. Following on from his quick jaunt through purgatory, Meliodas manages to save his beloved Elizabeth at the last second, all before decimating the combined might of 2 of the 10 Commandments like they were nothing. Thanks to his new ruthless change in personality, it doesn't take the Dragon Sin of Wrath long to beat the blessing out of Derer, all before using his full counter to reflect Monspeed's power back at them, turning the two demons to ash. Back to life for just over a minute, and Meliodas is already sinning. Number 8, Gojo vs Jogo. Jujutsu Kaisen. To say Jogo was outclassed in this sorcery battle is a complete and utter understatement, because as soon as this bout started, he had no chance in hell. Thanks to Gojo's infinity ability, not a single one of Jogo's attacks can even reach him. Of course, Gojo, being the type of guy he is, decides this is the perfect time to give Yuji a lesson on domain expansions, and puts an end to this fight in the coolest way possible. Number 7, Mirio vs Class 1A, My Hero Academia. There's no denying that this group of wannabe superheroes are talented, to the point they've made the League of Villains eat dirt on multiple occasions. However, as this smackdown proved, they certainly have a long way to go. Even with the combined talents of Deku, Todoroki, Ida, and the rest, they're all woefully unprepared for the unbridled power of this third-year student. Mirio may look a tad on the dorky side and somehow always end up naked, but that doesn't take away from the fact he took down each member of Class 1A with a single strike. They probably should have brought Bakugo along. Number 6, Rimuru vs Ifrit. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. This summon may be feared across the land as a conqueror of flames, but that doesn't amount to much when you're fireproof. Kind of hilarious that after emerging from Shizu embroiled in hellfire, looking like a nigh unstoppable devil, the Horned Firestarter can't even singe one slime. Thanks to his Predator ability, Rimuru was easily able to put an end to the raging beast that had plagued his one true waifu, allowing him to end the scorching scuffle without ever having to worry about getting burnt. I mean, it certainly made digesting Ifrit all the easier. Number 5, Zoro vs Hyozo, One Piece. We all know the vice captain of the Straw Hats can take way more punishment than the average mortal, so while we weren't worried about him losing his life, many of us were still convinced he would at least get scratched when going up against a drugged up octopus with a blade in each tentacle. Nope. After 2 years of training, Zoro's skills had excelled so much that cutting apart the fishman's weapons was almost second nature. Hyozo really should have called it quits there, instead of trying to launch a sneak attack with a bunch of half-broken, poison-covered swords. That would have saved him from getting turned into takoyaki. Number 4, Reagan vs Claw, Mob Psycho 100. We still can't get over the fact that the one to bring this division of a psychic criminal organization to its knees was Reagan. Reagan, the conman with an ironic talent for giving out great life advice. After being imbued with Mob's Esper abilities, Reagan manages to make short work of Claw's elite forces. Not only breaking apart their powers like they were nothing, but also breaking their spirits by giving them a harsh dose of reality. Not sure what's more devastating, getting wrecked by a fake psychic, or having your perspective shaken so much you give up being a baddie. Number 3, Einzel Gon vs Clementine, Overlord. Look at it this way, Clementine. You might have ended up getting slowly crushed to death by a skeletal ruler with a grudge, but look at the bright side. You're the only one who managed to make the ruler of Nazarick use his own bony hands to kill someone, as opposed to relying on magic. After butchering his human companions, the sadistic mercenary looked to put an end to the dark warrior named Momonga, only to discover there was more to him than meets the eye. Caught in his deathly embrace, even slamming blades into his eye sockets proved fruitless, as the life is literally squeezed out of her. Number 2, Kirito vs Titan's Hand Guild, Sword Art Online. Even before he was glitching death, killing fairy kings, and busting his way through final bosses, Kirito still had his own fair share of OP moments. While escorting a fellow player on a journey to revive a beast companion of his, the two were ambushed by guild members looking for trouble. Unfortunately for Rosalia, she and her crew ended up targeting the one guy that can't be taken down. Thanks to a handy health regenerating item, Kirito was able to just stand back and let the rest of them hack away as they please, which only resulted in them looking like idiots as they desperately tried to take down an immortal piñata. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Saitama vs Suiryu, One Punch Man. Leave it to Saitama to take the tried and true method of a tournament arc and turn it on its head. Despite his immensely cocky attitude, Suiryu proved himself to be a martial arts prodigy whose immense skills would excel in any other series. Alas, he's forced to share a stage with the world's strongest man, who not only takes no damage from one of his full frontal assaults, but manages to win the match by just shaking his hips around. Turns out that when the One Punch Man makes a mockery of martial arts, it's still enough to send a master flying into a wall. Yikes. What overpowered ordeals do you think should have made the cut? Let us know in those comments below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.